The Lush Caves, a biome added into Minecraft 1.17. There is no sunlight here, no animals, no trees. There isn't much chance for survival, but I am still going to try. Today, I'm going to be attempting to survive 100 days of hardcore Minecraft in a Lush Caves only world. There are many necessary resources that I depend on that I cannot find in a Lush Cave. How will I get through this? Before we get into the video, only a small percentage of you guys are actually subscribed. So if you do enjoy these videos, please consider subscribing. I spend a lot of time on these 100 days videos and it would really help me out. Oh, I'm also doing a pretty big giveaway in my Discord for my upcoming Minecraft server. Go check it out with the link in the description and you just might be able to win yourself some gift cards. Now, without further ado, let's get into the 100 days. I started off just looking around. This was an environment I was not used to. There were vines and berries everywhere, and no sunlight. I decided to start off by grabbing some berries. Getting food over these 100 days is going to be pretty tough. After getting a few berries, I looked around this cavern some more. My next goal is to find a tree. Believe it or not, trees are super rare in this Lush Caves only world. I didn't have much luck finding a tree, but I did find this broken nether portal that I swam right over to. Inside of the chest was some armor, a flint and steel, and even 2 blocks of obsidian. I felt a little better with having some armor on. And then I grabbed a ton of these moss blocks. They're super easy to break and actually really nice looking. I might use these in some builds. With the moss, I bridged over to a tree. I was so relieved to find this. I chopped it down and crafted myself none other than a wooden pickaxe and got to work on getting some stone straight away. I need a decent weapon if I want to survive here. Do you know how many mobs spawn in caves? A lot. After getting some stone tools, I grabbed this vein of coal and continued exploring, gathering glowberries along the way. I managed to find myself some iron as well. I didn't really have to dig around for much of the resources I need. I smelted the iron and crafted myself some armor and most importantly, a shield. I also grabbed some of this new ore, copper. I want to make a spyglass later on and I need this to craft one. Soon after, I was attacked by some skeletons. I sure was glad to have a shield here. I continued looking around, grabbing any coal and iron I could find along the way, and finished up my set of armor. Then I started facing quite a lot of mobs. I blocked myself in to fight these zombies safely, but this would just be the beginning of the army of mobs I was about to be facing. There is no sunlight in this cave, so there's gonna be a lot of dangerous mobs. I ran around for a lot longer and then saw another broken portal off in the distance. I was able to get some iron nuggets and a fire charge and even this golden block. Then I found another tree and got as much wood as possible before a literal zombie apocalypse showed up. I knew I needed this wood, but it was so dangerous. I only have one life, one shot at this world, and I wasn't ready to lose just yet. I got myself an iron axe to fight off some of these mobs and continued getting a few trees that I found up here. This was so dangerous and my health got really low several times. At least I had this shield to protect myself, but a better food source would really come in handy right about now. As I got to 2 hearts, I took off. I needed to get away from these mobs. One more hit and I am dead. I ran for a lot longer, exploring, looking for something interesting. And of course, I grabbed more coal, iron, and tons of berries. I hope I can make a farm with these. By now, I had a decent amount of wood that I was pretty happy with. I was ready to start setting up my base. I found an area that I liked and mined into this hill. Inside of here is where I decided to set up for now. I crafted a chest and dumped all of my things here. I mean, not that I had that many items, but still. It was time to get to work. I smelted the rest of my raw iron I had, and I put a door on my base. Oh, and I also made sure to light up the land as much as I could. There were way too many mobs spawning, and it was getting hard to deal with. I also planted some wheat seeds today. If I could have any food source other than these darn berries, I'd be so happy. Now it was time to mine out the rest of my base. I spent some time mining out a room when I thought of something. I can get wood if I bone meal azalea trees. So I looked around for some bones, and sure enough, I had some. Azalea saplings are everywhere, and I was able to grow a few of them. This is the only way I can get wood, unless I find a mine shaft somewhere. Skeletons are going to be a big help over these 100 days. I pretty much rely on them for my survival. But just when things were going okay, some zombies crashed the party and broke into my house. I got a little too close to dying here, but as always, you guys know I pulled through. After getting all of the wood I could possibly get, it was time to start making my base look nice. I smelted some cobblestone to make stone bricks for the entrance, and then used some oak slabs for the roof. Then while I waited for the rest of the stone to smelt, I looked around the surrounding area. There were once again a lot of mobs here, and I was running low on food. Luckily, I did have a few pieces of wheat that had grown, so I was able to craft a single piece of bread, which brought my health up a bit. But I knew I needed food really quickly. I had to go out foraging for berries. This trip really wasn't too bad, and I got a ton of food. And then all of a sudden, I found one of the coolest blocks Minecraft has added to the game, amethyst. I started harvesting these blocks and my pickaxe broke. Oh well, I was happy to have a few of these. I got a little lost, but eventually made it back home and dropped most of my things off. I needed coal, so I went around and grabbed some. There was plenty of veins of coal up on the surface, and then I started texturing up my wall with some stone bricks. Later on, I'll use deep slate, but stone bricks look nice for now. My base was coming along. I chose one of the most expensive floorings ever though. Look, I couldn't resist. They look so nice. After a bit of work on my base, I decided I really needed to go mining. There was a ravine nearby my base, so I headed into there. I grabbed some lovely gold and then I almost died. I dug straight down and fell into lava. I was so lucky that I had a water bucket on me. Honestly, I don't know how I got this much luck. I grabbed all of the resources that were in this ravine and even found diamonds pretty quickly. I'm super eager to upgrade my gear, so this was a great start. I grabbed a ton of these deep slate blocks as well. I love how they look, and they're the perfect mix of stone bricks and blackstone. I continued getting all of the ores I could find, and then found more diamonds. These ones were in deep slate, and I gotta say, the deep slate ores look so cool. I love this new update. I headed back up to the surface, and got a little lost. It's not like a normal Minecraft world, where there are landmarks. Everything looks the same in this world. When I did make it back to my base, I smelted all of my new goodies and crafted a diamond pickaxe. And I wanted more diamonds, of course. So I went out to find some more. But instead, all I did was catch this cute little axolotl. His name is Einstein, and I'm definitely going to make him the best home ever. Although I was carrying around an axolotl, that didn't stop me from going mining anyways. I was lucky enough to find a ravine and grabbed myself some diamonds. I was way too excited over this. Then I grabbed a good amount of obsidian and headed back to my base. With my 17 diamonds, I crafted myself some armor. The next thing I need to do is expand my base. I started mining out another section of the hill and then got started on a home for Einstein. I wanted him to have a nice cave that looks like his previous home, so I started mining a staircase down and then mined out a large room for him. The room was simple but homey. I filled it with water and let him loose. Guys, if you're still watching this video, be sure to say hi to Einstein in the comments section and welcome him to the channel. Of course, I made sure to include moss and some plant life into Einstein's home, and I gotta say, it was looking pretty awesome. And don't worry, I did light up the room so no mobs will spawn. I hope in the future I can get some more axolotls and expand this habitat to be even better. I started off the next day killing a ton of mobs that were around my base. The main goal of doing this was to get some bones. I'd really like to be able to get more trees, and I need bone meal, of course. After getting some bones, I farmed as many azalea trees as I could. Wood is a very important resource, especially when you're living in a cave-only world. After I got a whole lot of wood, I decided to do a little farming. I used the wheat I had gotten to craft a few pieces of bread, and then I used the wood I had just gotten to make myself some fences. I wanted to make a nice place to grow my wheat. This was just what I needed. The seeds I had didn't get me far, but that's okay for now. I also lit up the land even more. I hate all of the mobs that constantly spawn around here. After all that farming, I needed a new challenge. It was time to head to the Nether. I felt ready for this. I crafted my portal in the back of my base and hopped straight through. Unlike most of my times in the Nether, my spawn wasn't terrible. I looked around a bit and then found something that is going to make my survival a lot easier. Bone blocks. I couldn't believe how many of them had just naturally spawned in the Nether. I grabbed all of them I could find. This is literally free bone meal. I was so happy about this. I killed this ghast and then spotted a bastion. I could possibly get some golden apples in there, and I'd really like them in case I find a zombie villager that I want to cure. So of course I headed straight into the bastion, very carefully, blocking myself in whenever there were piglins around. I'm not gonna lie and say the loot here was anything special. I didn't really even get any gold. I also didn't want to be greedy and put myself in too much danger. After looting the bastion, I headed back to my portal, because I had a pretty full inventory. I think the item I was most excited about was all of the bone blocks I was able to get. The first thing I did when I got back to the overworld was farming, and a lot of it. I couldn't believe how much bone meal I had. I got a ton of wheat, which I then crafted into bread. But I broke my diamond pickaxe while I was in the nether, so I really wanted to get some more diamonds to make another one. So back into the mines I went. I was lucky enough to find another ravine. This one didn't have any diamonds, but I started strip mining and found a vein rather quickly. After searching for more and having no luck, I came back to my base to craft a diamond pickaxe. Although I was happy, I knew I would be needing to do some more mining soon. I decided to add some deep slate into my base. I really wanted to keep using these 1.17 blocks. And then I headed back to the nether. I wanted to find a fortress. You'll see why in a little bit. I basically just traveled through the nether until I came across one. And when I finally did reach a fortress, I focused on getting blaze rods. It didn't seem like there was any loot here anyways. After getting quite a few blaze rods, I left the nether. I didn't really want to be here longer than I absolutely had to be. Now, you may be wondering why I needed blaze rods. Good question. I would like to find a stronghold. Why? Because strongholds have libraries with books. There are no cows in this world, so this is the only way I can get books. And books are necessary for enchanting items. Once I had plenty of Eyes of Ender and some food, I set off in a search for a stronghold. I was traveling through the cave for a long time, and finally, my Eye of Ender led me to this wall. When I mined through it, I was in a stronghold. It took me a ridiculous amount of time to find the first library, but when I finally did, I stocked up on books and looked around a bit more for any goodies I could find. I was actually able to get some chests and got a name tag. I'm very excited to name Einstein when I get back to my base. I did finally stumble across the main library. This one had a lot more bookshelves and had some pretty nice enchant books waiting for me. These will definitely come in handy later on. After getting a full inventory, I headed back to my base. I was really excited to soon be able to enchant my gear. Since I had all of these books, I was ready to build an enchant setup, so I started mining out a room for one. I kept it the same design that I had done for the other parts of my base, and then crafted a load of bookshelves. After placing all of them down, I crafted an enchant table and placed that down as well. I was really excited and got to work on enchanting most of my armor and my diamond pickaxe. After this, I went mining for diamonds. I am completely out of them, so I knew I needed to spend some quality time in the mines. Plus, I don't mind getting stone and deep slate for builds. I came across a mine shaft while I was out, which was awesome. I was able to get lapis, gold, and some other ores. Of course, I found diamonds down here as well. And if you haven't noticed by now, my pickaxe has fortune on it, which really helped me out. After this mining trip, I came back up to the surface and named Einstein with a name tag. Then I crafted some diamond leggings and a diamond sword. I am in almost fully enchanted diamond armor. The next thing I did was actually go out looking for witches. This is the one way I can get sugar because there is no sugarcane here. I'll explain why I need it later on. But I didn't have any luck finding witches because they are sort of rare, so I headed back to my base. And on my way, I stumbled across a geode, which basically is just a cave full of amethyst. I grabbed a ton of these, like several stacks of them, and then I headed back to my base for real this time. With my new amethyst blocks, I put a super cool flooring detail in my enchantment room, and also crafted a spyglass. This thing is so cool. I hope in the future there are more uses for amethyst, but for now I am more than happy with having this beautiful block in my builds. Remember all of those bone blocks I got? Yeah, I used every single one of them to grow azalea trees, so I needed to go back to the nether to get some more. And that's exactly what I did. I spent a bit of time here just running through the nether, harvesting these super helpful blocks. I am honestly so glad this is a thing in Minecraft. I did get a bit distracted when I saw another fortress off in the distance. I headed into it and there was some loot waiting for me. Nothing crazy, but I grabbed it regardless. After running around the fortress aimlessly some more, I headed home where I immediately got to work on growing and harvesting some trees. After getting more wood than I'll ever need, I did some terraforming. My base needs an upgrade, and, well, I need a platform to build it on. So I got to work on clearing a nice area for it. I did a bit more terraforming over the next few days. I am really excited to start on this new base, and I'm definitely going to use some of the new 1.17 blocks, and it is going to look awesome. After getting a nice plot set up, I realized I needed to go material hunting. Of course, I'd like to use deep slate in this build, so I went over to a nearby ravine and grabbed an absolute ton of it. When I made it back to my base, I continued building. I love the floor I did for this house. It's a mix of stone bricks, and andesite, and it came out perfectly. Over the course of building this house, I changed the designs and block choices a few times, but overall, it did start looking awesome pretty quickly. This was actually much larger of a house than I usually build in Minecraft, but I do love it, and I'm super excited to work on the interior. After I finished everything on the base, I added in some greenery, which really made everything pop. Then it was time to move over all of my stuff. I really wish I could hire a moving company in Minecraft, that would be nice. As I was doing this, I remembered something. I can craft wool from string. That means I can craft myself a bed. I was so excited and crafted one right away. And then I placed it down in my house. I brought over my enchanting setup, and after organizing a bit, I decided to go for a mining trip. The durability on my pickaxe is giving me anxiety. I don't want it to break. So I needed to find diamonds as soon as possible. A few minutes into my mining trip, I didn't find diamonds, but I did find a zombie spawner. I completely forgot about the fact that my pickaxe is about to break and worked on transforming this dungeon into a grinder. This made getting XP so easy. After spending a super long time grinding in this farm, I went back to my base and did some major upgrades to my gear. I was able to repair my pickaxe just a tad and upgraded enchants on everything. My favorite has got to be my sword. I got sharpness 4 and looting 3 on it. I am really excited to use this thing. By the end of this, I had used almost all of my XP, but it was worth it. Although my gear was looking beautiful, I don't have mending, so I'm going to need diamonds to repair everything. I figured it was time to head back into the mines and grab some diamonds to have on standby just in case I need to repair something. I was mining for literal days and got enough materials to last me a lifetime. After this, I headed straight back to the XP grinder to grab even more XP. And after getting a ridiculous amount of it, I repaired all of my gear and slept in my bed for the first time. With all of my new gear, I was ready to go fight the Ender Dragon. I knew where the stronghold was. I just needed to craft a few more Eyes of Ender, which was super easy because I had all of the materials. I grabbed plenty of food, blocks, arrows, and a water bucket, and left for one of the most dangerous things I'll do in this world. Once I made it to the stronghold, I threw the Eyes of Ender into the portal and hopped straight through. Look, I'm a pro at fighting this dragon. We got this covered. I got to work quickly on taking out the towers. I didn't realize it in the moment, but I was wasting most of my arrows here. It really doesn't do you any good to have bad aim. But don't worry, I did figure it out and broke all of the towers. Now I need to finish off the dragon. It was hard to get hits on her, and she flung me up into the air a lot. And since I was out of arrows, I had no choice but to wait for her to perch to deal some damage. This was probably one of the longest Ender Dragon fights I've ever been a part of. But I did finally kill her. Once I saw XP raining down, I was so relieved. The dragon was defeated, and I was super happy I was able to conquer her. I grabbed the dragon egg and went through the end gateway. The next thing I wanted was an elytra. Also, end cities have some darn good armor and weapons in them, so I was hoping to get lucky. And I did. The end gateway put me right in view of an end city. I headed in and killed some shulkers. I forgot how annoying these things are, but it was important that I get some shells from them to craft shulker boxes later on, so I made sure to get a few of them. Even with looting 3, it is hard to get shulker shells. I moved on after looting this city and kept looking for more. I was out here for hours, just running around the end, finding end cities and looting them. I was really desperate to find an end ship. But I didn't give up and finally came across one. I didn't realize it in the moment, but one of the most important things I got here were these potions. I can drink them and use the bottles to brew weakness potions and cure zombie villagers. There is no sand in the Lush Caves world, so this is really important. Nonetheless, I did get myself a nice elytra and of course the dragon's head. I was so happy to take my first flight in this world. I headed back to the overworld and was super proud of my accomplishment. And once I got home, I started putting away all of my goodies and hung up my dragon head and put the egg on display. I felt so rich with all of my new goodies, and I was beyond happy to have some shulker boxes. Shortly after getting back from the end, I was up for my next mission, to find some witches and get sugar. This is the last thing I need to brew weakness potions, and I really want some villagers. This wasn't easy though. Witches only have a 10% chance of dropping sugar, and they are pretty rare to begin with. Don't worry though, I always pull through and found one who gave me 4 pieces of sugar. Thank you, Looting 3. I went right home to brew the potions, and then I went back out looking for zombie villagers. This also wasn't easy, but I did find one. I put him in a boat and started the curing process. While I was doing this, another one ran up on me, and yes, I had 2 zombie villagers. I cured them both and then headed home to my base to get some rails. Transporting villagers is usually a pain, but this wasn't too bad actually. After they were in my base, I gave them jobs as farmers and was ready to start getting rich off of my crops. I set up a gigantic carrot and potato field and spent an eternity farming them and making loads of emeralds. Sadly, when a creeper blew up part of my house, one of my villagers got loose, and I don't know where he went. But then I got extremely lucky. A horde of zombies broke into my house, and with them was a zombie villager. I wondered if he was the same villager I lost zombified. I cured him and made him into a farmer. Problem solved. After days of farming and trading, I decided to show off my profits right next to my farm. I was so proud of what I was able to build up over these 100 days. I spent the last 2 days fishing. I thought this might be a way I could get some mending books. I tried, but didn't succeed. Oh well, I can probably breed my villagers and get a librarian in the future. After a bit of fishing, it was day 100. Yes guys, I survived another 100 days in unfavorable conditions. This was quite the challenge, and I was really proud of myself. If you guys did enjoy this video, please be sure to subscribe to the channel and leave a like. Also, be sure to join the Discord for my upcoming Minecraft server down below. Thank you guys for watching, and have a great rest of your day.